What's going on? Welcome back. In today's video, we're going over Ninoa. Ninoa is a machine from Hack the Box. The difficulty is medium. The machine is Linux, and this machine will be discovering and finding or looking into many ways to get the root access. One of the ways is exploiting a tool used for scanning the Unix-based systems for rootkits. Also, we'll be exploiting PHPliteAdmin, an old version of PHPliteAdmin. So technically, this machine is all about learning how to use public exploits. And don't forget that the machine name matches a city in an Arabic country. As you can see, Ninoa. If you go to Google and just type Ninoa, see the city is in Iraq, right? It's an ancient Assyrian city of Upper Mesopotamia, located in the outskirts of Mosul in modern-day northern Iraq. All right, interesting. So let's get started. The nnow scan revealed two open ports, 443 and 80. So let's go over both ports. Open the browser. Ten, 10, 10, 43. It works. This is the default web page for the server. The web server, the software is running. So this is the default page of Apache web server. If you click on the page source, you see the same. Now, if you go to 443, advanced, accept risk. So here's a page for displaying, some Iraq stuff. So if you inspect or view the page source, nothing. So there's an image, right? And this image has a purpose. So if you save the image, I'm gonna save that to desktop or to Hack the Box. Okay. Let's see here. ls. Oh, strange. Save that to desktop then. Okay. I think I need to give permissions to my folder. Let's go back, cd ls. All right. Okay. So cd Hack the Box, cd Ninoa. So let's launch strings on the image. Let's see here. Well, so there is nothing on the image. All right. Let's get back here. So since we got nothing on the page, we will have to launch directory search. So I'm just going to show the command, right? And I'm going to go directly to the results. Since you can run the commands, we have covered directory buster many times. So I'm going to put the command and you can run it on your own. This seems right. Just change the IP address to, it was 43. Okay, you run this one time on the port 80 and one time on the port 443. Both times you will find out that the hidden directory is /department and the other one /dp. So the exploitation will be here, but in order to exploit that, we will need the password. Now, what is that? So basically here, we're going to be launching Hydra to find the username and password, or we're going to be launching brute force. What was the name? It was Perpsuite. So Perpsuite will be used, or Hydra will be used to find the username and password of this. Now, if you view the page source, see here is saying admin, MySQL is installed, has been installed. Please fix the login page, Amoris. So this is potential username, and this is the potential username. Okay, so why do we need to log in here? After we log into this page, we will be finding a note. The note is indicative of the next step, which is the exploitation of the database here. All right, so how do we exploit this? We have two ways. Let's first find out if we type admin and admin, the login invalid password, which means that the username is valid, but the password was wrong. So here we can use Hydra or we can use Perpsuite. So in my case, it is better to, actually I have shown both ways in my previous videos. I'm just gonna now use Hydra, it's better and quicker. And again, I'm gonna show you the command. It may take time to find the password, so just showing the command, and you can run the command on your own if you wanna practice. Okay, so sudo hydra -p -l admin -p user share lists. Now, the form is, as you can see, you get the HTTP request to the form. The type is HTTP post. So we will be using HTTP post form here. HTTP. Most of the forms use HTTP post. So I'm gonna just use this as always, unless there is some exception. Now, the URL here is department login.php. So take this. Now comes the username and the password. So let's see the fields on this form and act accordingly to the command. So inspect element. So the username, as you can see, it's username. The field name is name, username, and the password field is password. So let's get back. Here type username equal user, and then the password. I hope I found, okay. And then the password equal pass. So let's copy this one. I don't want to waste time looking for the symbol. Pass. Okay, so here it is for the username and password. Now, are there any other fields we need to consider? So we have username and password, and don't forget that we have the submit button, which is here. No, technically you don't need to write submit button every time. You can just get away with only writing the username and the password in the command. Now the rest is we have to find out what is the statement that the form gives when we supply a wrong username and password, and it is up here, invalid password. So we have to teach Hydra what is the form behavior when we supply wrong username and password. So here, just type. Not sure about this. No. Let me copy that. invalid password. Yes, and type v for repository. When you launch this, it's going to take some time to find the password, but at the end, you'll find that the password is, you can type the password directly. So it is admin, and the password 1q2w3e. Or let's launch this on the background so you can see the results, and then we discuss. Oh, what's this? Yes, it is the codes. So don't forget that the codes to end the codes here. We have a problem in the codes. So you can just type single quotes instead. Okay. Don't forget to supply the IP. We forgot that. So the IP here, 10, 10, 10, 4, 3. Okay, I'm gonna run this in the background, but if it takes more time than intended, I'm gonna skip it. I'm gonna skip this and what do we have here? Unknown service. So I guess we have to put the IP before the HTTP post form. 10, 10, 10, 4, 3. All right, so I'm gonna skip this and go directly to the password. Click on that. Yeah, it's gonna take some time. All right, so see here the password is what 1q 2w 3e 4r, and then we have 5t. Login. So we are logged in as admin now. If you click on nodes, you see here manage.php nodes equal files. So it hints at some local file inclusion, that there is some there could be local file inclusion. As you can see, have you fixed the login page yet? Hard-coded username and password is really bad idea. Check your secret folder to get in. Figure it out. This is your challenge. Amorous. So this is also an indication that there is a username called Amorous. So you have to find out how to use it. Now we could put this on the side. All right, we have now got admin access. See here on the right, we have the page for PHPliteAdmin, which is very old, and I guess no one is using this now, except few, backwards companies or backwards people using that PHPliteAdmin, but it has been put here for practice purposes, of course, by the creator. Now the version is 1.9, so it's easy to look for an exploit for this. So if you go to Google, PHPliteAdmin version 1.9 exploits. So let's see here. 1.9.3. Let's see this one. So this is the exploit. So the proof of concept is, as you can see here, we have to log in first, create a new database. And when you create a new database, we have to create a new table, all right? And the new table should have a new field. As you can see, when you create a new database, the name you entered will be appended with the appropriate file extension. If you do not include it yourself, the database will be created in the directory you specified as the directory variable. So we have the option to choose a directory for the database. An attacker can create a SQLite database with a PHP extension and insert PHP code as text fields. When done, the attacker can execute it simply by accessing the database file with the browser. So it's simply saying that create a new database, right? And when you create a new database, name it as something.php, put some PHP universal, netcat reversal, PHP payload whatsoever in a text field, and then visit access the database file with the web browser. So you have to access the database name, you name the extension .php in the browser. And finding the directory, the relevant directory for accessing the database is actually done by looking at the directory, as you can see here, at this variable. We're going to see that in action in a while. So we create a DB name called hack.php. The script will store the SQLite database in the same directory as PHPliteAdmin.php. So this is the same directory we will be accessing when we will trigger the payload. So new table, and insert text field with default value. This is an example to display the PHP version, and you access the the database file. So let's see that in action. But first, we have to be authenticated right now. So as you can see, it is finished, and this is the password. Nonetheless, let's get back. All right, so we have to find the password. If we don't find the password, we will not be able to get access and perform the exploit. So again, Hydra comes to be the savior. So we minimize this and we launch Hydra against database this time. The same formula here, the same, everything the same, except some few stuff to be modified. Let's see here. So the IP stays the same, -L. It is not relevant, or actually it is not important, or it doesn't matter what is the username to be used. Why? Because here, as you can see, there's only one field, which is for the password. We keep everything the same. Get you back here. Okay. Keep everything the same, right? Just change a few things. Now, the few things to be changed are the URL. So instead of department login.php, you will have to put /dp. Okay. And we have to cancel the username because there is no username actually. Just change this. And the password equal to pass. And we have to see what other parameters to be included. So we have login and we have remember me. We'll have to include these for Hydra to be able to deal with the form. So in this case, let's look at the form and supply the correct name of the parameters. Inspect. So password, and as you can see here, the remember option, the name is remember, and the value is yes. So we can check this. Actually, it is pre-checked. So you will have to tell Hydra that remember option is checked as yes. And we have then the login. The name is login, this one, right? What do we have else? We have this hidden field. We have also to provide this hidden field as well. The name is login, and the value should be true. Let's get back and see how we add these fields. So this is the password here. We add the password. Fine. Now after the password, we will have to add the other fields. So just take the and. All right. Remember field equal to yes. Paste. Okay, now we have also the login. So login equal log space in. One more, and we have the other field, rock underscore login equal true. Now let's apply wrong password and see the response of the form. Let's apply the old password, the password for the previous form. Login, incorrect password, that's the response. So take the response here, we supply it to the command. So just remove this one. Incorrect password, and it's ready. And again, guys, I'm gonna just skip immediately to the password, so we don't want to waste the time and wait for the login or the password to be cracked. But we will, as you can see, we entered this to be run in the background, and we will get back to the meaningful stuff. So the password is password 123. Now when we log in, we can start the exploitation process. So get back to the exploit here. The first step is to create a database name, database. So from this here on the left pane, we can create a database name called hack.php. Create. Okay, so we click on the hack.php. Next, we will have to create a table. So the first table, we can call it Nainoa. Number of fields, we only need one field. Go. So now we created a database and we created a table. So the rest is to create value for this field, right? So as suggested by the exploit, the value could be a PHP payload or could be PHP code like that to display the version of the PHP version. Let's get back here. So field could be Nainoa shell, and the value is PHP info. Try it as a test. Create. So it has been created. Now we will have to visit the URL of the database, of the URL that contains the database name, which is hack.php, in order to trigger the field. So click on hack. As you can see, the hack PHP is stored in var temp hack.php. How can we access this one? We will have to leverage. Let's copy this first. So how to access this one? If you remember, get back here, we have a parameter called notes. We can leverage this parameter to access other values or other fields or other whatever you want to call it, right? So like that, and access the hack.php because because the application is vulnerable to local file inclusion, so we can access other files on the system to trigger it. Enter. No node is selected. Var temp. So we will create a new database. Database will be called, as you can see, Nainoa notes. Instead of Nainoa notes.txt, I'm going to name this as Nainoa notes.php. Create. All right. In here, just type notes shell. Number of fields, 1. Now, let's get this one. Displaying the PHP version. Notes shell. Create. Now, take this one and try to access it here. Let's see if it's going to work. It worked. So, as you can see, it displayed the PHP version. And why this worked and the previous one didn't work? Because the URL here, if you get back to notes, as you can see, the notes parameter requires that there must be a node file to be viewed. Okay, so if the supplied name, okay, into the notes parameter is not 901 notes, all right, it will be ignored or it will not be browsed. So that's why we have renamed the database to near-no-one-nodes.php, and we tricked the parameters nodes or the parameter nodes to think that we are accessing a node actually, but we haven't accessed a node, we have accessed the database. So what's rest now is to change the near-no-one nodes field, which is node shell, right? Change this to a PHP payload of your choice. So just change this one. So let's do that two ways. We can do that with Metasploit, or we can do that without Metasploit. Which is now, till now, this didn't finish. So I'm going to clear here. All right. So what we will do here, guys, we will first generate a payload with MSF Venom. This is the Metasploit way, by the way. And then we will be using another way without Metasploit. So sudo MSF Venom -p PHP meter. The IP. Head port equal 4545 and -f row. So the non-Metasploit way. Split this bigger. That's PHP meter pretter. So I have omitted the E here. Okay, so now MSF cancel. Four five and run. Now let's take the payload and get back to the database. Replace the PHP payload here with our payload. Insert. Okay, now we have to visit this. So yeah, it worked. So this is the first way. The other way is to use some other payload. So basically, what we can do here, we can create a new database. For example, it will be actually the name must be the 901 nodes. So we will have to cancel this. Anyway, we're not going to continue with the Meterpreter, but I wanted just to show you guys how it is done with Meterpreter and or Metasploit. Checking if I can do this. If I create a database name with 901 nodes. Okay, I have an idea. Let's create the same database like that, but we will put here .txt .php. because I want to demonstrate the privilege escalation with both Metasploit and the non-Metasploit way. So create. Can we create one? Or I don't think we can. We can only establish one reversal. So basically we have to cancel one. All right, so I'm going to cancel the Metasploit method. Quit. Okay. So now in the same database, just go back on the table and see, change this one, edit. Yes, this one. So in here we can use another PHP payload to give us netcut reversal. So what we can do here, we can write one such as PHP echo system $, where is the $? Request, and here we put CMD as a parameter. CMD. Yeah, close the parentheses, semicolon, and end PHP endmark. Save changes. All right, now if I access the nodes here, right, I can append and CMD equal ls, for example. Let's see if this works. No, it didn't work. New for structure, edits, and no, cancel, insert. So here we will have, let's try to put this as single quote, and here single quote. Insert. Oh, it worked. So this time it worked. So the trick is, and that's actually it's not a trick. I don't know why it didn't work with double quotes. I changed it to single quotes and it worked. So with single quotes, it worked. It works. So as you can see, we got a directory listing of the current files. So what we can do now, we can spawn reverse shell. So we can choose netcut reverse shell for this. In this case, we'll do pen test monkey reverse shell. Can use this one. Can use this and this one. Now let's try this one. The most reliable is the one that comes with the pipe, with all the pipes. So let's take this one, and we have to encode this, or URL encode this first. So let's see here, decoder, encode. Let's put this here. Encode as URL. All right. And no, we forgot to change the IPM port. So modify on this one. So here, change it to 4545 IP. Encode as URL. All right. And now back to the command line. Make sure the listener is running. Sudo rl grab and see that LVP 4545. Let's hope for the best. And place the ls with the payload. And yes, so it worked. So now we have reverse shell. So these are two ways, right, to get or to exploit the PHPadmin Lite. One with Metasploit or MSF Venom payload, and the other one is with non-MSF Venom payload for those who are practicing for OSCP. So let's see here now. ls, and we are in the directory of the web server. ID, we are data. So this image seems to be weird, right? As you can see. But nonetheless, we're not gonna. There is another image that worth looking at. So pwd. All right. If we get back ls-la. So see, there is an image here saying Ninawa destruction. Now, if we transfer this image to my machine, we will find private SSH key. So let's turn on the listener here on another port. Now you're going to tell me, how did you find out? Of course, I did the machine before. That's why I found out. 4546. Let's connect now. nc-nv or without nv. 10, 10, 10, 10, 14, 10, 10, 14, 14. And the port is 4546. Transfer the image. Well, right. Let's see, 10, 14. ls. Yeah. No. Seems like the image has not been transferred correctly. Oh, we have here to put nc-lvp, right, in this side, and we have to just put the output like that as the name of the image. Rerun the command. All right. Now this is the image. Run strings on this image. And go up. ls. Not the right one. So not the image that we're looking for. Let's see. So nano destruction doesn't have the private key I'm looking for. ls cd back. cdsl. Nano for all secure nodes. If you remember, there was a note in the website asking you to look for a secret file. I guess the secret file you're supposed to be looking for. ls. So nainoa.png. Let's try to transfer this image. png. Okay. Now strings. So this is the private key, right? secret.nino.pub. This is the public key, as you can see here. Now take the private key and store it in a private key file. So sudo nano id rsa But if you remember, there was no open port for SSH. So how are we gonna log in now to the SSH server when there is no open port for it? So, but that makes me think that there is port knocking on this machine. So we will have to find out how to open the port with the fact that 22 is not explicitly open. So we will have to find out how. So if you get back now to the machine here, ls pwd secure nodes ls cd back ls pwd cd back ls. So let's see here, where do we have to go? So see, we have mail. If you go to mail, cd hours, no, cat hours, no such file or directory. Cat Amrois. I'm spelling the name wrong all the time. Okay. So this is an email, as you can see, sent from the root user, right, to the Amrois. And the content is saying, Amrois, please knock the door next time, 571-290-911, which suggests that we will have to use this sequence of ports to open the SSH server or SSH port. So let's do that. Let's see here, nmap sudo nmap -pn, disable the ping, and let's set the timeout, post timeout to 250 seconds. The ports are 571. Let's copy them. And the IP name, the IP address. Let's see now. It's still filtered, as you can see. So the knock process has not been completed yet. So we'll have to wait. Or I have a better idea, guys. We can use for loops, or let's say P for port in, the sequence is 571-290-911, and then knock on port 22 at the same time. Do nmap on these ports one by one. It's easier, quicker, and better. -pn. Let's define maximum retries. Max retries, not retries. It's written retires. 0-p. Okay, the ports will be defined as p as the variable name we have just written on the left, and the IP address, and done. Let's see here. Open. Fine. That is excellent. Now let's try now. Let's see now how we log in. So let's see if the private key is here. ID ls. The private key is here. So give it the proper permissions. Sudo chmod 600 ID RSA. Sudo sh-i ID RSA. And login as Amrois. Yes. And we are logged in. So that demonstrates the privilege escalation we have done now from the user ID data to the user Amrois. How? We just found a node, as you can see, saying that we have to knock on these ports to open a SSH port. And previously, we have demonstrated how we got the private key from issuing the command strings on the image. And that's how we ended up getting access to the Amrois as a user on the target host ID, and I'm Amorous. Now on to the privilege escalation. Privilege escalation on this machine is issuing or taking a look at the cron tab. Cron tab dash L. So there is a script running. Report reset.ssh.sh. Let's take a look at this. User sbin report reset. So bin bash rm-rf report. So it's reporting, as you can see. Let's go to report directory to see how these reports look like. So we are in Amorous ls, and user flag is here, by the way. Okay, cd reports. So these are the reports. Let's cat one of them. Yeah. So this is the output of the report. So what is that? Let's see. Now, checking or judging by the lines here, judging by the output of the report file, we can see that this output is indicative that the tool that is running by the script report.sh is chkroot, which is a tool used for checking if the Unix system has a rootkit inside of it. So it is just very ironic that the target contains a security tool, and at the same time, however, we have been able to get access to it. Very ironic. The scenario is very ironic, by the way, but the machine is very cool, by the way. So this is the output. Now, what we will do now, we will have to find out if we can exploit the tool, which is Chkrootkit. And previously, there has been an exploit for this tool. If you go to Google and just type Chkrootkit exploit, local privilege escalation. All right, so how this works. So the line file port equal will execute all files specified in slapper files as the user chkrootkit is running. If file port is empty because of missing quotation marks around. So actually here the bug is connected and related directly to the root, to the tool chkrootkit, right? Not to the system. So if you have this tool and this version, your system will be exploitable even if the Unix system is, even if your system is up to date and has the most security, measures. So if you have chkrootkit on this version, it will be exploitable since it has the bug. Now, how to exploit this? As you can see, we have to create an executable file called update, specifically update. Now, you place this executable file in the temp directory, right? And the executable file here will contain, like you can just add a new user, right? And this new user will be added to the sudo words group. And after that, you will be able to sudo from Amorous to the root user. Just put whatever you want in this executable file, which has the name update. So let's see here how to do this. Now we get back. Now we have to go to temp and create a file. Now my local machine, let's see how this file, what is the behavior of this file. So nano update, for example. In here, let's say chnode. I want to change the permissions of the sudo words group. doors, right? After I change the permission of the sudoers file, I want to add the current user, who is Amorous, to the group sudoers, right? So just Amorous or echo Amorous, execute all of the commands with no password required. And put this inside the sudoers. Now lastly, I change the sudoers permissions back. That's the content of the update file. Now, how to do that here? Just choose the echo. Echo and chain the commands. So this is the first command. So we'll have to chain it with and here echo. Sudoers and one more time. The last one is and at the end we have to put the single quotes not to fall in errors and output this to temp updates. Cats update. Okay, give it permissions. Now sudo su, right? Since we are now in the sudoers group, and we can issue all of the commands with no password, we can just elevate easily to the root. Password for Amorous, we don't have it. I think it did work. So I think we have to wait for the cron top to be executed, then we can try to escalate the privileges. Let's see, cd report, cd report. Sudo su. Oh, it worked. As you can see, now we are root. So we just had to wait for the cron job to be run in order for our exploitation or the privilege escalation to work. So why did this happen, by the way? The tool here, the Chkrootkit, actually debug if you name a file called update, right? And if the tool here, Chkrootkit, has not been supplied with a file name, it will literally take the update file, any file called update in the temp directory as an input. That's how it works. So now cd to root cat root 60, and this is the flag. All right then, hope you enjoyed this.